Hey everybody. Lions played their second preseason game today. Stick around and find out what's gonna the highs and the lows of that game. Plus, the Tigers have gotten younger with their recent call-ups. How's that changed the current status of that team? Stick around and find out.
Turn that off! It's time for No Pad Sports Talk. Stay tuned as two brothers bring you the latest from your Michigan teams and beyond in hockey, baseball, football, and more. Let's get started. Here are your hosts, JD and Steve.
Welcome to another edition of No Pad Sports Talk. I am one of your hosts, JD.
Oh, geez, man. Weekend sports for Detroit. What's been happening specifically with the Tigers?
Yeah.
Interesting things to talk about with the Lions, with some of the rookies and the way they've been playing. Specifically, one running back.
I've been impressed. But yeah, so I guess let's just jump right into the Lions, I guess.
Yeah.
I know the Tigers are playing right now, so maybe we'll get some scores and some quick highlights, as we're doing this, as they're playing. But until then, yeah, the Lions played yesterday. We're doing a show today, so it's a day after. Had a chance to kind of, I don't know, sit back and just rethink about the game. I don't really think that, thinking back and rewatching a couple plays here and there really changed my initial thoughts of the game. But I think ultimately, I think we can boil it down to like real quick here, right? Like this is my impressions of the game. And I guess I'll start with the bad ultimately. All right. Matthew Betts. Look, he was a CFL sack leader, and the Lions signed him. I think we were all hoping that maybe he can, just kind of continue his I don't know, sackness, whatever you want to call it, right, in the NFL, and it just hasn't worked. I mean, he did have one sack against the Chiefs, but for the most part, he was invisible. I didn't really see a lot going on with him. So, I guess to me, that's kind of a minor. Because I don't think anybody's really counting on him. We're just kind of hoping it'd be like, catching lightning in a bottle. And it just hasn't happened. And aside from the defense, I think that's the biggest thing on the defense is just, so it's not, defense has actually been pretty good. And I think that's just been my biggest disappointment on the defense overall. Is just some guy we signed from the CFL. So that's actually a good sign in my opinion. On the offensive side of the ball, I'll start with not so obvious. And I think that's Donovan Peoples-Jones. He hasn't done a lot this preseason. And actually, like last game, I think he caught maybe one pass.
Yeah, and one pass for 5 yards.
Yeah, and he hasn't really been targeted. And for you're talking about a team that's really searching for a third, fourth, and even a fifth wide receiver, someone of his not his caliber, but just his pedigree. You would think that he'd be getting more chances in the preseason to kind of prove himself, and quite frankly, he hasn't been. So I'm thinking for some reason like he's kind of fallen out of favor with the coaching staff, and I don't really know why or what. We don't have the inside information, but I don't think that they're really like Donovan Peoples-Jones right now. And then aside from Donovan Peoples-Jones, Nate Sudfeld, the guy is not a good quarterback. Just isn't.
Yeah. He passed just over 50%, completed just over 50% of the passes yesterday. I mean, he was 14 for 27. They were touchdown and an INT.
Yeah, and really a lot of those completions that he completed were just little check down short passes. Anything that seemed like it was like 7 or 8 yards or more, it seemed like he just threw it over their heads or I don't know, like his accuracy is just not really where it needs to be,
Hmm.
and he shouldn't be in on the team. Honestly, just my opinion. He just shouldn't be on the team. He should just be done.
Yep.
Because if he is in the game during a regular season game, we would lose. That's just all there is to it. Like, so I have no faith, no confidence in him. And I just want to make another a point real quick about Jake Funk. Look, again, he's some running back for depth. He was never really anybody that we thought really to make the team.
Hmm.
But man, that guy just seems so slow. Every time I just watched him touch the ball, it's the only thing I thought was like his legs were moving, but he wasn't going anywhere. Um, so, and then the good. All right, so I guess ultimately, I want to point out. Well, okay, before I go there, Josh Pascal did pretty decent. He actually had a little a strip sack, so that was pretty good for Pascal. That really helped set the Lions up, although the Lions didn't give the ball away. But at any rate,
Right.
Pascal did a nice job overall. Like he didn't disappear. Like I said, I thought he did. Played overall okay. Abraham Beauplan, I thought actually had a very strong game, and he's kind of a new addition to the team.
Yep.
He hasn't had a lot of practices or anything with the team, so the fact that he's kind of coming out and kind of balling, really,
Yeah.
I think it says a lot about the depth of the linebacker, and so I kind of liked what Beauplan's game was, and good for him. And that kind of transitions into the offense because Beauplan was not on the team for very long, and neither was Jamarco Jones. Jamarco Jones is a left tackle that signed recently with the team, and I'd say out of all the offensive linemen, and again, we're not playing our starters, so I just want to throw that out there. But
Sure.
out of all the offensive linemen that was playing, Jamarco Jones was probably the best offensive lineman that the Lions had. He did have a pressure against, I believe, but aside from that, he had a pretty clean game, and he was good in both pass blocking and run blocking. So I like that. Isaiah Williams did really well. He had the most catches for the game, uh, so he's a big positive there. And I say the last big positive is Hendon Hooker. So when we talk about the Lions last week, I spoke specifically about Saki, and I was saying that he is just so much better than the other running backs that were playing. Again, we're not talking about the starters, Montgomery or Gibbs. We're talking about the other running backs that was playing at the time. And
Hmm.
Saki just seemed like he was so much better than those other running backs. And that was kind of how Hendon Hooker looked, right? You had Sedfeld start the game. Hendon Hooker came in, and it was like a whole nother level. Hendon Hooker just looked really comfortable in the pocket. He made good, accurate passes. He went through his reads, and then when nothing was there, then he used his legs. Even though he was always pass first, but when he
Yeah.
had nothing available, he used his legs and kept the drive going. I'm just saying, I'd love to see what Hendon Hooker would look like, as far as with the first team. Just
Right.
again, just to see, because there's a big, big, big talent difference, between the second and third teams to the
Yeah.
first. But aside from that, like he looked great.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd like to see him get the start against Pittsburgh
oh yeah, me too.
because I still don't
Yeah,
think they're going to play our starters next week, and if they do, it's going to be like one series.
I think that's all they're gonna do.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think Hendon Hooker should be the guy that comes in. Let's see what he can do against some different. Pittsburgh's defense is usually pretty good, so it'd be interesting to see that. But I didn't get to see the game yesterday. I was camping this weekend. We went to the Michigan Holston Renaissance Festival, and yesterday was opening, or say Sunday. Yesterday was opening day,
yeah,
and it runs through I think the end of September or first weekend of October. But it was part of the weekend, so I was out doing that, having some fun. Uh, but as I'm looking, I did come back. I was trying to catch some highlights and looking at some numbers. I'm actually excited. Now, this is one game, but I'm looking at Isaiah Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He got 6 receptions for 71 yards.
Yep.
Had one rush for 11 yards. Right, so he had 7 touches. He had 82 yards. Right. Caden Davis, he caught 2 passes for 64 yards and a touchdown. I think one of those catches was like a 60-yard catch from Hendon Hooker.
No.
No, I wasn't Hendon Hooker. Yeah.
No.
Right.
No.
It
was Nate Sedfeld.
It was Nate Sedfeld.
Yeah.
My bad.
But yeah, like, no, I agree. Isaiah Williams is definitely talented, and I like what he's doing so far.
Mm-hmm.
The only knock I have of him right now is his height. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, like, we don't really have like tall receivers right now.
Right.
So, like, you know, it'd be nice if there was, you know, someone like, you know, Isaiah Williams that was taller, that was producing, but we don't have that guy right now. I mean, Isaiah Williams is only 5'10", you know, so, but he's playing well, and it's definitely something to be excited about. You know, anybody that plays good, you know, it should be exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, the wide receiver group in general is going to be really interesting because, like, you know, like, I think a lot of people were interested in what Doris Fountain could do, Maurice Alexander, right? Like, I think, and Tom Kennedy has always been really good in the preseason. But, you know, how many wide receivers are they going to carry? Because you can pretty much guarantee that right now, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, and Khalif Raymond are 3 that make it, right? So on the bubble, then you have Donovan Peoples-Jones, Caden Davis, Isaiah Williams, Doris Fountain, Maurice Alexander, Tom Kennedy, right? So they probably keep 6, is my guess. That's what they've done. So who's the other 3? Isaiah Williams, as far as like people playing, is probably going to make the roster. Donovan Peoples-Jones, just because of his height, is my guess. And then you got Davis, Alexander, Calhoun, Fountain, right? Like who's left? So
yeah, I mean, Fountain's at 6'2", so it'd be nice to see. You know. But you're right. I'm looking at heights right now, kind of checking out the receiving core. You know, 5'10" to 6 foot, and then you know, you got your outlier there. It's, you know, 6'2". You know, you got Donovan Peoples-Jones, and with his experience, I just, you know, and not just his experience in the NFL, because, you know, this is his second team, right? Because he played for the Browns prior to that. We picked him up mid-season. I just assumed his ability to play, like the chemistry, and it could just be different because he's got somebody different throwing to him, right? But I would always think that as a known entity, that a young quarterback or a backup quarterback, they're going to look to the guys who have been there for a minute, right? It just doesn't appear that that's the case with people.
No, I don't think so. And then cornerback, I think, is going to be interesting because we've been talking about cornerback for a while, cornerback and safeties, right?
Yep.
As far as like what that's going to look like, and I think we can pretty much understand at this point, just concede that Carlton Davis, Terrion Arnold, and Meek Robertson and Rakestraw are going to be a shoo-in for cornerbacks.
Yeah.
So the last spot will go to either Dorsey, Vildor, you know, possibly even Gilmore. But Gilmore hasn't played well in this preseason, I don't think. But you know, he has played well previously.
Yeah. Did you say Robertson? I make Robertson?
Yeah, he's a shoo-in.
Yeah. Okay.
So Davis, Arnold, Robertson, and Rakestraw.
Yeah. Okay.
And
I was
then
trying to check names off when you said it, and I'm like, wait a minute, I think you said it.
yeah. So the last spot will probably go to either Dorsey, Vildor, or Gilmore. Right.
Yeah,
That's one of the last spots. One of those three.
yeah,
And I'd say it's probably gonna be Dorsey or Vildor.
yeah.
And then safety, they're gonna keep 4. So Kirby Joseph, Iffy, are shoe in, and you have to count Brian Branch as a safety as well. If you're not counting him
Yep,
as a corner, right? So there's 3.
that's
So the
3.
last one's going to be like either Brandon Joseph, CJ Moore, or Lauren Strickland. And I think this is going to be like overall like a tough decision. I think right now, just based on how each have played, not talking about like in the past, we're talking about like this year specifically. I'd have to give it to Brandon Joseph.
Yep. And I would just say that because he's younger. And he's got the age now too.
He does. He does. So like, I mean, I know we haven't really talked running backs, but I can only see them keeping 4. And at this point, I think the 4 is pretty easy. That's why I don't like go over that. Right? It's gonna be like Montgomery, Gibbs, Reynolds, and Vaki. Like there really isn't
Yeah.
any other competition.
And with Barkley, he's going to be a returner, so I mean, you'll probably see him in the run game, but he's going to be a guy that's going to be returning kicks.
Well, the good thing is they have multiple people that can, right? You got Vaki, you got Khalif Raymond,
Williams,
Peoples Jones has even done it.
Yeah.
There was a talk that Williams could even do some punt returning.
Yep.
So like,
he did return 3 punts yesterday.
Yeah.
Williams did. Did 41 yards, 13.5 average.
But there's plenty of So at any rate, we are the roster is looking pretty strong. As what was from what we can tell, the roster is looking pretty strong.
Mm-hmm. So there's still a need someplace or a weakness, and it's one that I'm still worried about. So
what's that?
It was kicker. So Bates, while yes, he was 4 for 4 yesterday on his field goals, and he did kick a 55-yarder, right?
Mm-hmm.
He missed an extra point.
He did.
All right. So I didn't see the game, so I don't know if it was a bad snap. I don't know if he slipped, if it got tipped, he just flat shanked it.
No, what happened was there was pressure off of it would be the kicker's right side.
Okay.
And it looks like that. I don't want to say like scared or whatever, but looked like it was just something that he just was trying to kick around. And so as he was coming in from his right side, he kicked a little more left and just missed it left.
Okay.
So, I mean, look, he still missed it, and that shouldn't be there's no excuse for it or anything, right? I'm not saying that by any means. Just he should have made it. He didn't. But I can at least I can look at it and say there was a reason for it, right?
Sure.
Like it wasn't just a complete mental breakdown or something.
Yeah. He didn't push his hips and he left it out to the right, or if he didn't, he hooked it. So, but I mean, 4 for 4 on field goals, and they weren't short. I think he hit a 40 something in the 40s. He had one in the one over 50, right? He had the 55-yarder, and I know he had one in the 40s, and I think the other 2 were 30s. So it's not like they were short kicks.
No.
Right. So the kid's got a leg, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But my thing is, look, it's like shooting free throws for me, and I know it's different because they are coming at you when you're kicking, right? Even an extra point. But I don't want to have to put my team in a position where I've got to make up points.
Oh, of course not. Yeah.
Right. So that's my only worry currently, because it's not like this is the first game he struggled. We kind of struggled a little bit, I think, the week before too. I just that has
I don't want to use the term struggle. That's all. I don't feel as if struggle is the right term for it
Okay.
is all. Because
Acclimate.
if you think about it, because like the previous game, he was 1-for-1 with a 53-footer or 53-yarder, right?
Yep.
Like that was, another big kick that he did. Oh wow, did he get in there? He got in there. Parker Meadows just stole second. I thought he might be gone, but the slide was a really good slide. I thought the throw beat him.
All right. So he's only kicked one extra point. All right. So but he's 5 for 5 on field goals, missed his extra point. All right.
Yeah. Anyway, he's 2 for 2 over 50. So,
yeah.
And that's something that we, like, I know. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't feel like Jake Bates is automatic or anything, but at least I feel more confident than I did previously. So, but anyways, I think the team is set pretty good. I know they also signed Jake Fromm because of injuries there at QB, but I don't think that. I would still like to kind of see Jake Fromm play, just because I don't think Nate Sudfeld should even be on the roster. So like he could kind of potentially be the emergency quarterback, right? Because I have zero confidence in Sudfeld. But anyway.
After 2 games, Hendon Hooker is, based on what I've looked at with Hendon Hooker, I think he's the backup going into the season.
Absolutely. He looks so comfortable. The touch on his passes is really good. His reads are good. His decision making is good. His accuracy's been good. His legs have been good. Like, it's hard for me to, again, on the competition he's playing against, it's hard for me to sit there and nitpick because everything's been good. Yeah.
I just need him to make sure he takes care of himself. We don't need any concussions and getting him out of the game, right?
No, we don't.
This is a, but it was nice that he was able to get cleared and he made it back a week later. So that tells me it had to be a either minor concussion or, so
right.
They held him out for for concerns and maybe not quite, can't tell wrong, but maybe we won't call it a full concussion.
I'm just glad that that I feel we got an actual good number 2 quarterback right now. Yeah, that gives me a little bit of confidence. Now, again, we don't know how he's going to look against number 1s, but at least at this point, like I just feel a little bit of confidence.
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
But at any rate, we're talking about how the Lions, as far as the young players producing, and to transition over to the Tigers, there was a lot of young players in the Tigers. They just did some more call-ups.
Yeah, in the last 5 days, like the guys that they called out, right, has really made their team younger.
Yes, they have.
And yesterday's game, if you guys had a chance to watch the Tigers game yesterday, which I didn't, I saw the stats, I saw some highlights. But I was looking at those young players, and they all were produced. They were there trying to. They didn't hurt the team. I guess is what I want to say. They didn't hurt the team.
Right. Yeah. The look, yesterday was a good game for the Tigers. Of course they won 4-0, but when you're looking at the younger players, like Colt Keith had 2 hits. Torkelson, I'll get to him in a second, and Jace Young also had 2 hits, right? Mm-hmm. So a couple young players. Parker Meadows didn't really have an at-bat. He was in there for a defensive substitute. But like Torkelson, though, this is something I want to go back like a couple months when he was getting sent down. One of the things that I made mention that I thought Torkelson was doing differently last year compared to this year, and Tigers just turned double play. Sweeney to Keith to Torkelson, that little young trio right there. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I lost my train of thought. I was hot there for a second because of the double play. But okay. But Torkelson, when he got sent down, I was saying one of the problems I felt Torkelson was having from last year to this year was last year, if you look at his spray chart, his hitting chart, he was hitting quite a few balls to right field. Like he was taking he would go with the pitch. If that's what the pitch was, the outside part of the plate, to go with the pitch, take it to right field. And if you look at his spray chart this year, he had barely anything to I think, out of all the balls he hit and play, like very few, I think like 2 or 3 was in right field. Everything else was a center fielder over to the left. Like he was trying to pull everything. And then if you look at his pitch chart, the pitchers were pitching him mainly outside, especially low and outside was the majority of his pitches. So when the majority of pitches are low and outside and you're trying to pull that ball, that does not, like that doesn't work. It just doesn't. So Torkelson went 2 for 4 yesterday, and both of his hits went into right center field, right? So he took it the opposite way.
Mm-hmm.
And I just felt that was so good to see, right? Like, it's like I finally feel like he is getting what he did last year back, because and that's not just they were like they were good solid hits too, right? Like they weren't just his little bloopers. Like they were good solid hits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And look at today, he got on base through via walk.
Yeah.
So he's already been, Greenhill's got one hit since Torkelson's walk.
Yep.
But the young guns, we'll call them the young guns. Obviously, it's not a lot of at-bats yet, right? But, you got Riley Green back today. I don't know, because he wasn't on it. I didn't see him up yesterday.
No.
But Riley Green is back. Right? Sam Carpenter is back. Right? And he's been kind of on a tear. Right? His first game back, didn't he hit 2 home runs?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's he's the guy you talked about early in the season, or pretty much throughout the season, as a key piece to the game, to this team because of his power.
Yep. That was back when the Tigers scored 15 runs against the Mariners. That was his first game back. And of course, a lot of the Tigers, hit pretty good. But yeah, Carpenter had 3 hits, 2 home runs in that game. Keith again, 2 hits. Meadows had a hit. Just on and on. But yeah, I mean, look, the young players on this team, that's a little bit of a positive sign to be positive, right? I mean, Riley Green, Parker Meadows, I'd even include Matt Fairley. I think he has made huge strides this year over last year, especially in the power department. But he's always going to be useful since he can play basically every position on the field and play it pretty decently. Kerry Carpenter, though, Colt Keith, Torkelson, Jace Young, Trey Sweeney, Dylan Dingler. I'm optimistic.
So 1, 3, 5, 7, 12, 16, 19. There were 7. So Malloy, Meadows, Keith, Dingler, Torkelson, and Young yesterday were 7 for 19. They had 7 hits out of the 19 at bat.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those are pretty good numbers.
Oh yeah. I mean, look, and those guys would be under Tigers' control for a while, and hopefully they'll still be under control when we get again another little influx of young talent into the roster. like then it could be really exciting. And this whole time we're just talking about hitters. We weren't really even talking about the pitchers, right? Because I mean, everybody knows about Tarek Skubal. I mean, I know he's 27. He's not, exactly a spring chicken anymore. But
Right.
I mean, yesterday, Montero, like, he pitched 5 innings, only gave up 2 hits, and struck out 5. Like that was great. And Tyler Holton came in afterwards, pitched 3 innings, only gave up 1 hit. So, again, we're looking at younger players. I know Holton's not exactly younger, but Montero is. Montero's 24.
Right.
So, but when Montero's on, he's got some nasty, nasty stuff. And Colt Keith just got a hit. So another hit for him. But yeah, anyway, look, I'd say it's a lot. I'd say it's pretty exciting for be a Tigers fan right now, because I think if you look at it objectively, you can kind of see the future. The future's here, right? Now it might take a little bit to get everybody on the same page, and Torkelson just let a cutter right down middle, just let it go. Anyway, but yeah, the future's here, and it's fun to watch already, because like Jace Young's producing, Colt Keith's producing. I like it.
Yeah. And, when you talk about our young players, we have McGonigal. We know he's done for the season. They set him down when they hurt his hand, broke that bone in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
He lost the rest of his season. But Matt Clark, seems like he's been in the news. And he's hitting well. But like the pipeline guys, like the guys that we have, it's been a long wait. Right?
And we're not done yet either, but yeah.
We're not done. Right? So who's that pitching prospect? What's his
Jackson Jobe?
Jackson Jobe, thank you. He's not in AAA yet, right? Or is
no,
he?
He's AA.
AA. So like it's not just the fielding aspect, right? We do have that, we have the pitching prospects too. So it's like you said, that future is starting to become the reality. It's the now, and it's just great to see that here. If they stay up, you keep them up for the rest of the season, you can actually see what you got.
Yes.
In your young talent at the major league level, right? We're talking. This is only mid-August now, right? And they made all these call-ups mid-August.
Mm-hmm.
That's 6 more weeks of ball, because I think September 30th is their last game. I think it's like right in that time frame. So, 6 more weeks in Major League Baseball, and that's a lot of games. So to be able to evaluate your talent moving forward and what you're going to have going into spring training next year, it's like spring training can be exciting.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, a lot of position battles.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, we got Jackson Jobe, but we also have Ty Madden, down there too. And Ty Madden's in AAA right now. He wasn't having the best of seasons, but he is in AAA. And I don't know. I think he has a lot of talent. I think he can turn it around. I don't know what's going on. I haven't really watched any games or anything of Ty Madden. I don't have any analysis to give, but I just know from watching him previously, he's pretty talented, and I think he can turn things around. And then they drafted a lot of college pitchers this year too. Josh Randall, Michael Massey. I think there's Montalvo or something. I don't know, something like that. But those guys could potentially, depending on how fast they develop, they could help in the next couple of years, because they're already 21 years old.
Right. So, typically, I'm going to ask this question. I know we talked about the draft, and when you get drafted, the less likely you are to make it to the bigs.
Yeah.
For college players, do they typically move through your minor league system faster?
Yes. Typically, yes.
Typically, okay,
Because they already have some of that polish,
right.
and they've already seen some higher competition. Like, I mean, you could equate. It really, and it honestly depends on what conference you play in, obviously. But I mean, you can look at, some of the tougher conferences as like Double A potentially, and uh, like so if you are already playing in a tough conference that's equivalent to Double A,
Mm-hmm.
um, like you don't have to have that seasoning in low A, high A, and spend a couple years down there.
Right.
So yeah,
Okay.
you come back a little bit faster.
Right. And I would have made that assumption, right? For all the same things that you said is because they've already got 4 years of extra playing. They've got 4 years that they've grown into their body, right? They're stronger, they're faster than what they were coming out of high school. So
Yes. Yeah. And but and that's just some of the bigger prospects we talked about: McGonigal, Clark, etc. I know Rayner, he was just a first round draft pick, right?
correct.
He should be coming up pretty quick, right behind Max Clark and McGonigal. Um, we got that Lorenzo now. He should be up again if he develops. I'm still not 100% sold on this guy. I'll keep saying it over and over again. I know he's had some pretty big games already with some home runs. Like since he got to West Michigan, he's making me look like a fool because he's batting .391 with a .541 on base, a .783 slug, and a .1324 ops.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's making me look like an idiot.
So what sounds like, JD, you just need to start talking, not
Bad about everybody.
players. Yeah. Any faith in anybody and see what happens. They're like, we're going to prove that dude up.
Yeah, he's definitely showing me up right now. But
He's showing you up.
and that's over 14 games, and in 14 games he has 4 home runs and 6 doubles. Like the guy is literally just killing it.
Yeah.
So, that's what all the scouts have said. That he has a big bat and he has the ball hard. I just wasn't sold on his swing, and I didn't like him actually swinging from both sides either. But at any rate, forget about all that. He's showing me up. If he can continue, I'd be more than happy to be wrong about him. I would love for him to continue just mashing the ball. But I mean, and you still got Haiyu Lee, right? I don't know. Like the right now, the prospects for the Tigers, this farm system goes pretty deep. And when you get into the back end, like the prospects after 20, you still got Paul Wilson and Carson Rucker and Roberto Campos. Nestor Miranda they just signed for the international signing. Like, I don't know. It's looking pretty good. Like our farm system's looking pretty good, and I love that we have options now. As far as like, I felt like there was a couple positions we were weak at, and catcher and shortstop were the two that I complain about the most. And now with the way Kevin McGonigal's playing, right, and now that we drafted Bryce Rayner, on top of that we traded for Trey Sweeney, that kind of helped out the shortstop area.
Yep.
Dylan Dingler got called up, but in 2023, we signed a catcher from Venezuela called Enrique Jimenez. Again, there's a lot to be said about him. I'm not exactly sold on him, but he is climbing the board, the prospect board. And then, of course, we just talked about the potential of Thayron Lorenzo. I don't think nobody thinks he's really going to stay at catcher, but maybe they can change that and help him out. And then we still have there's all the catching prospects. I thought there was one more, but Owen Hall. That's the other one I was thinking of. I'm not. Just Briseño is what I meant. I looked one name down lower. But at any rate, like they kind of shored up some of those holes that I was talking about. So
yeah. So, in baseball, as far as the record, they're 4 games under 500 currently. They beat the Yankees yesterday, right? Yankees are, they're a decent team,
Yeah, they're a very good team.
right? So, 73
Yeah.
wins this year, right? So, uh, and to shut them out, not just win, but they shut them out,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's always a good sign as well.
Well, when you can shut out Aaron Judge and Juan Soto and company, that offense has a huge potential just to go off. And
Right.
shutting them out, yeah.
Yep. So that's kind of big. And right now, game, Tigers are up to bat in the fifth, or coming up to bat in the fifth, and it's 0-0. So Gooble's doing what he needs to do on his side, right? Just gotta get those bats. Gotta get more bats, right? Gotta get some more hits here. So we're only looking at 2 hits, and only had 3 base runners. So, but the Yankees haven't fared any better. I mean, they've had 4 base runners, so it's definitely a pitching duel.
It is. Because like Stroman's a good pitcher though. So
yeah,
I mean,
Scooble's got 5 strikeouts already.
Yeah, 1 per inning. That's about what he's been averaging.
Yep. So it's like you definitely you like it when it's a pitcher's duel. So you're just waiting for one. We hope it's the Tigers here, bottom of the ninth, and just crush one up, put it over the wall here for the hometown fans.
That was a huge cut by Jace Young just then. I mean, wow. Like, he was swinging for the fences on that one. That was massive. Oh, man. Yeah, like, I would really like to, I don't care which Tiger it is. It'd be awesome if we could just get one Tiger, just to, like talk with us about hitting.
Right.
Just like their process, their approach at the plate, what they are typically doing, and how much like scouting or like how much all that actually helps them. But Jace Young's got a good eye, man. Like even that game he got, like his first game when he didn't get a hit, he still walked twice.
Right.
Like he doesn't chase. And I like Jace Young a lot because his approach at the plate is probably right now. I mean, it's really very, very early, very early. But as far as the Tigers that we have right now, I like Jace Young's approach at the plate the most. I'm not saying I like his swing the most. I'm not saying I think he's the most talented. I'm not saying any of that kind of stuff.
Right.
But just his ability to have to know the strike zone really well, not chase pitches. But at the same time, if you don't chase pitches, you're able to identify what the pitch is early on. So his ability to identify the pitch, he just walked again. And that was a borderline. That changeup was close to the strike zone, but he just went ahead and just took it. He knew it was a ball. Like that to me is that's the best. He has the best eye in the team, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and at the beginning of the year, when you were talking about what the Tigers were trying to do, like the management, right? The upper management, like what they were looking at as far as players.
Yep.
Right. They wanted players who could get on base, and it didn't matter how they got on base, but they needed to get on. They needed base runners.
Yeah, like they say Trey Sweeney just chased after an outside changeup. It was like 4 inches off the plate. Like that was a massive chase. But yeah, like the Tigers want someone with good contact skills. Not necessarily, someone that's going to hit, 40, 50 home runs. They just want somebody that's going to make good, solid contact, not chase, not strike out. And Trey Sweeney just chased after another one, and that's strike 3 for him. But that's what they're looking for. And that's what Jace Young is. Jace Young is that perfect hitter for the Tigers, in my opinion, of what they're going for.
Yeah.
Because I think Jace Young also has the ability to hit 20 home runs a year. Like he's not going to be as 40 home run guy or anything, but I think he can definitely be. I think he can hit close to 300, low strikeout rate, and hit 20 home runs a year. Like that is huge. But I think he has that potential. Hopefully he achieves that potential. I think that is his ceiling, is batting around 290, 295, 20 home runs, low strikeout rate. Yeah.
Okay. That's not bad.
He's impressed me so far. And if you think about it, again, it's so early, but his transition to major league pitching so far has been a little bit faster than Parker Meadows, Spencer Torkelson, some of the guys that we've called up recently. So, and if he continues to improve, I guess is what I'm saying, right? Like that's what we got to look at. Like, I don't think anyone believes he's at a ceiling right now. So what is his ceiling? That's what I'm trying to guess.
Right. Because he's a new guy, so pitchers are still, what's he going to swing at, right? What's that swing look? They're looking at his approach to the plate as well, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
The more that this guy gets, pitchers are going to learn to start, they'll start pitching him different too. So you find out real quick what kind of a hitter or what kind of a batter he is.
Absolutely.
Not so much hitter, but, what kind of a batter he's going to be. Let's talk, mid-September, late September after he's, seen a bunch.
Jake Rogers just chased again. So we need Dylan Dingler.
That's pretty much, I guess, what we were going to talk about today. It's one of our shorter shows that we've had, and we were able to split it pretty equally between football and baseball. So, all in all, I have to pat ourselves on the back because, 47 minutes, that's not bad.
That's not bad, talking about, two different sports and two different teams.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but yeah, at any rate, let us know what you think. Give us ideas for topics. Like, subscribe, all that cool stuff. Definitely appreciate it. And we'll talk to you next time.
Yeah, sounds good. See you, everybody.
Thanks for listening to No Pads Sports Talk. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, help spread the word by leaving a rating and review wherever you listen to podcasts. Follow us on social media at No Pads Sports Talk.